The inequality caused by slaughterhouses. Have you ever considered that your food choices negatively impact the lives of humans and native species? Of Earth's bird population, 70% are farmed birds. We tend to eat meat 3 or more times a day without considering the impact that meat production has on people, animals, and our planet. The people working in these slaughterhouses can suffer from amputations, zoonotic diseases, PTSD, repetitive motion injuries, and other health ailments. Even the residents living nearby are at risk of throat cancer, hepatitis, water toxicity, air pollution, and other environmental risk factors caused by farmed animals produced for slaughter. I grew up in a rural Minnesotan town, surrounded by factory farmed animals and a slaughterhouse. I have seen the injustice and inequality inflicted by this industry. Think Progress published an article in 2016 by Esther Usai Lee. In her article, Lee mentions that slaughterhouse workers are 3 times more likely to be injured than workers in other manufacturing and processing jobs. Lee reports that between 2004 and 2013, 151 animal processing workers died from injuries sustained at work. Most of us have seen recent news about slaughterhouse outbreaks of COVID-19, a zoonotic disease, with some employees dying. Latinos and immigrants make up a large amount of the employees of slaughterhouses and factory farms, and are forced to endure tremendous mistreatment. Latinos Unidos of Greeley is aware of more than 20 recent JBS workers who applied for workers' compensation related to COVID-19 and were rejected. These individuals reached out to the group because they do not know their rights, and many of them fear retaliation and being fired. As consumers, we tend to ignore the zoonotic diseases arising in recent years and their connection to how we keep animals. In March 2021, Metro News published First Cases of H5N8 Bird Flu Detected in Humans and Reported to WHO by Tom Williams. Williams reports 7 poultry workers in Russia were the first humans to contract a new strain of avian flu, H5N8. The first known bird flu spread to humans was H5N1. The reaction to this was killing hundreds of thousands of birds to stop the infection from spreading across the world. I think we need to push legislation to stop subsidizing these operations with our tax dollars, and instead subsidize plant-based food crops for human consumption to help farmers make the switch. Several farmers have recently switched to farming mushrooms and other plant-based food crops instead of animals. This will lead to much safer jobs in these communities, along with many other benefits. Slaughterhouse workers sustain injuries ranging from repetitive actions to amputations, and some people even die. They are at risk of many health ailments like asthma and PTSD from working in the plant. Most of my family members in the small town where I grew up work at factory farms or slaughterhouses. My father was injured on the job. As a result, he had several knee surgeries while being unable to work. To this day, he still cannot use his leg normally. After a long 4-year court battle with Genio, he just received some compensation. Most employees, however, do not have the funds for lengthy court battles to seek compensation or justice. In an article published by Lincoln Journal-Star titled Why Line Speed is Non-Negotiable, Don Walton interviews workers who experience line speed-related injuries. The faster the line moves, the more money the companies make. However, the faster the line moves, the more injuries occur. Beef processing facility workers are expected to turn the cows into products at 1 every 12 seconds. One employee mentions that he takes medication daily to help him with his pain from lifting and cutting so aggressively. The animal products can also be contaminated with feces from the animals, and supervisors allow tainted meat to pass due to pressures of line speed. Some of these workers are required to make as many as 10,000 repetitive knife cuts a shift, causing what the industry calls cumulative trauma injuries. Consumers can demand better work environments and even boycott these industries. If we pressure the USDA to regulate line speed and reduce our consumption of these products, we can help workers being exploited for profit. It is up to us as consumers and compassionate people to demand better working conditions for our fellow humans. Power is at play here, and the consumers have a large amount of power over for-profit companies. If we do not support these industries, they will be forced to make changes that benefit residents and employees over their billion-dollar industry. Slaughterhouses profit from innocent people who fear retaliation if they ask for better working conditions. Metamere published America's Love of Bacon is Hurting North Carolina's Poor Minority Communities by Chelsea Johns. Johns informs readers of the pollution and inequality from animal agriculture in Duplin County, North Carolina, where there are around 530 concentrated animal feeding operations, CAFOs, where the population is 32 pigs to 1 human. Compared to any other part of the state, this area is home to more African American and Hispanic Americans, with the hog farms supplying most of the jobs. This inequality leaves residents little opportunity for safe work near their homes. Slaughterhouses spread illness in our poor rural communities. Community organizer Violet Branch, 71, mentions that she's forced to leave her home some days because the smell is so strong she cannot help but feel nauseous or vomit. I can relate to this. As a child in Minnesota, my friends and I played who could plug their nose and hold their breath the longest on the school bus. While the game may sound fun, we only did this because we drove past multiple farms and the air pollution is horrific. Air pollution is inflicted on low-income communities across the U.S. More than 500 North Carolina residents came together in 26 different lawsuits against Smithfield Pig Farms and Murphy Brown Company, noting the farms devalue their property and spoil their lives. The legal battle against these cruel companies cannot be fully just because laws are set up to protect producers, not residents. We need a major shift to focus on the safety and health of our residents. As these trials were taking place throughout 2015, a state legislature proposal was passed protecting hog farms against lawsuits, restricting the amount of money residents can sue hog farms for over smells. This protects these farms and actively oppresses these minority groups and communities where these farms and slaughterhouses exist. Johns references a Johns Hopkins University study on levels of pig-related fecal bacteria. It states that water near these farms can be tainted and cause hepatitis, typhoid, and other health problems. Other studies have shown the effects can cause high infant mortality rates, higher asthma in children, high blood pressure, and impaired memory. This industry can make a shift and produce more health and planet-friendly plant-based options, benefiting locals and slaughterhouse workers by switching their type of work while lowering their risk of workplace injury. Slaughterhouse workers are at risk of catching zoonotic diseases and parasites from farmed animals. These include COVID-19 and H5N8. They are also at risk of spreading them from human to human at work. These zoonotic diseases like Ebola, swine flu, bird flu, and SARS stem from the way we house and treat the animals we consume. JBS in Minnesota received 930 workers' compensation claims involving COVID-19 and had rejected 717 by September 2020. JBS has denied workers' compensation to all the families of employees who contracted COVID-19 at work and died, leaving their families to deal with funeral costs and medical bills. CNBC reports the death of JBS employee Saul Sanchez, 78, of Greeley, Colorado, in April 2020. On his deathbed, he told his daughter to let his boss know he would be back. This heartbreaking reality left his family without their primary financial income and no help from his billion-dollar employer. Smithfield and Tyson have also been denying all the claims they're receiving. If they admit fault just once, they will be reliable for any COVID transmissions. A Hormel slaughterhouse in Austin, Minnesota, was the origin of a new neurological illness caused by the inhalation of pig brain particles. This facility turns 18,000 living pigs into products each day. Morbidity and Mortality Weekly report showed the new discovery reported to the Minnesota Health Department. In 2008, 12 workers were identified having progressive inflammatory neuropathy. Some reported paralysis in their lower extremities, affecting their mobility. All of this was caused by using an air compressor to harvest brain tissue from the pig skulls. If we refuse to support these industries and demand better working conditions for our fellow humans, we will see a more just world with less health-related issues. Our tax dollars support these destructive industries to keep costs low. This does not help employees, but benefits the billion-dollar industry. Veg News published a report by Anna Stratowski on May 12, 2020, that new proposed legislation would help at-risk farmers switch from animal to plant-based agriculture. The At-Risk Farmers Act is set up to assist farmers who want to make the switch. She mentions the Farm System Reform Act introduced by New Jersey Senator Cory Booker and supported by Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren and California House Representative Ro Khanna. This would limit growth of CAFOs and ban new ones from forming, with a goal of phasing out the largest CAFOs by 2050. We as residents and community members need to reach out to our local legislators and demand action be taken and these initiatives be passed. Write letters, call, and sign petitions. If the government can bail out these large industries, they should equate the same assistance to small farmers as well. This means we need to keep pressuring our representatives and advocate for our subsidies to be used fairly and ethically. In a perfect world, we would not rely so heavily on consuming so many animal products without thinking of the impact it has on humans, animals, and our environment. We should collectively be advocating for our tax dollars to subsidize plant-based foods for human consumption while creating safer jobs. There would be less risk involved all around and would allow our world to be filled with more kindness and a lot less murder and illness. We need to be advocating for our fellow humans working in these dangerous and deadly facilities and encourage positive change. We need to embody the change we wish to see in the world. Thank you.